Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Terence from GSMA, heading the APAC5G industry community. So welcome to join again our manufacturing interest group workshop powered by the community. So the theme today is about leading Indonesian and ASEAN toward Industry 4.0 through data-driven approach. So G20 Summit is to take place in Bali, Indonesia this year. So Indonesian G20 presidency has set three priorities: global health architecture, digital economy transformation, and energy transition. Indonesia is also the largest economy in ASEAN. So APAC5G industry community is proud to invite Ministry of Industry, Manufacturing and Mobile Industry experts who will share the latest development and thoughts in the Industry 4.0 today. So this is a workshop. Welcome, post your question in the Q&A box as our speaker will try to answer you after their presentation. So the workshop will provide simultaneous Mandarin translation. You can choose the interpretation in the Zoom menu. So about the agenda today, after I give a quick opening, we will have the first keynote about Industry 4.0 in Indonesia, delivered by Ministry of Industry. And then we have a pair of very good speakers from Telkomsel and also Cellular Electric. So they will share about leading Indonesian 4.0 through data-driven approach, and also a case study about the first commercial 5G factory in Indonesia. Next, we have another keynote delivered by Super Technology, who will share about how data-driven operating excellence for manufacturing and logistics. And then we have a very good panel moderated by Telkomsel about heading 2022 with accelerating Industry 4.0 for vertical and horizontal integration. So we have speakers from Akabono, Break Astra, Indo Lakato, Indo Food, and also Mattel. And finally, we have smart manufacturing best practice in China, shared by Huawei. So let's start. If you don't know GSMA, just repeat again. We are a mobile global industry association worldwide. We represent more than 1,000 members in over 200 markets. So GSMA work very closely with our members in different regions to set up industry programs such as 5G and IoT in order to support the industry. Every year, we also produce very large Mobile World Congress, MWC at Barcelona, Shanghai, Las Vegas, and Africa. We also host regional conferences. This year, we have Mobile 360 APAC on August time in Singapore. Welcome to join us. So if you are aware, actually 5G already rolled out for 2 to 3 years time. At the end of quarter 3, our member already rolled out in more than 117 mobile 5G commercial network over 68 markets. So in the APAC, we also have over 15 market roll out 5G, including Thailand, Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, and recently Malaysia in ASEAN country. So APAC is a very huge and big market, but the fragmentation is also an obstacle for scaling for a lot of entrepreneurs, startup, solution provider, and also enterprise. So as an industry community, we work very closely with the member here, including mobile operator, government agency, and also technology leader and enterprise domain expert. We form this community in order to support enterprise to accelerating the digital transformation with 5G and IoT adaptation. So this year, we're focusing on 3 sectors: manufacturing, logistic, port transportation, and also healthcare. Most of you already joined us. You will already able to receive our regular information, access to our monthly virtual workshop for our interest group activity. So after this manufacturing workshop, we also have the April workshop about smart logistics and port in the 5G city. Also, we will have a physical event in MWC Shanghai on the June, and also the MWC and also the Mobile 360 APAC at Singapore on August time. So welcome to join us physically, as we will have some physical showcase, networking, and of course, speaking opportunity and business matching. So the best of you, of course, you will also be invited to speak in our platform, get exposure, business matching, and also contributing to our case study and white paper. Also, we will recommend the best to participate in the global mobile competition, GOMO, which is an Oscar in the mobile industry. If you need any support about 5G or doing POC, let me know, or I will connect you to our member. So Industry 4.0 is the confluence of disruptive digital technology that together transform the industry. So in the last few years, we see a strong movement because of a number of factors. For example, astonishing rise in data volume because of more and more devices connected with IoT technology, much better computing power with edge cloud capability, very powerful connectivity from 4G, 5G, and also the private network. Secondly is the emergence of more advanced data analytic and business intelligence capability like machine learning and AI. And there's new form of human-machine interaction such as touch interface and also the augmented reality system, and also right now is called metaverse. Finally, the improvement in how digital outcomes are transformed to the physical world, for example, through advanced robotics and 3D printing. So McKinsey also did a research about how Industry 4.0 can benefit for ASEAN. It forecasts the productivity gain will be worth more than 200 billion up to 600 billion by 2025. So the impact is very big, and it will be bringing value to different process in different sectors, including operation in manufacturing, predictive maintenance, improving the yield in agriculture, solving, optimize the supply chain and logistics, and also bringing operation efficiency in public services such as healthcare and also public safety. So we do believe 5G is not only a technology developed for consumer use case in a mobile phone scenario. It's really very powerful with its enhanced mobile broadband feature, ultra reliable low latency communication, and massive machine type communication. It can apply to a lot of industrial use cases in different scenarios to enable robot, AR, machine for a lot of data analytics and computer vision. So GSMA not only represent the mobile industry, we also work with the other industry key stakeholders. For example, recently we partnered with 5GIC, which is an alliance from manufacturer and technology provider. So they work hardly to ensure the best possible 5G technology can be applied for connected industry, for manufacturing and processes, and different kind of process in the whole end-to-end. So we are already working with them, and they already produce a lot of good white paper for factory manufacturing use cases. So welcome to go to our website to get this kind of document and white paper. So before I pass to the first speaker, I will also emphasize the pioneer example is around the world. Even in the region, APAC, we already see a lot of good examples. We already delivered some of these cases in our past industry interest group workshop. So today you will hear from Indonesian, Telkomsel, Cellular, and their partners sharing some of their cases. And also you will hear from Huawei, who will talk about their learning from their smart manufacturing deployment in China. So now let me introduce our first keynote speaker, Dr. Irahiwo Costanto, the director of the Center for Optimizing the Utilization of Industrial Technology and Industrial Services Policy, representing Ministry of Industry. He will share about the journey to the smart factory in Indonesian Industry 4.0. So welcome, Hiro.
Thank you.
You can share your slide.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
We can
you
start.
maximize?
Okay, we can start, Mr. Wong.
Yes, please. Can you maximize your screen?
Okay. Sure.
Presentation mode.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, good.
Okay, we start the Honorable Mr. Terence Wong, Market Development Director of Head of APAC5G Industry and IoT Community, APAC5GIC. And the all speaker, the first is Mr. Alfian Manulang, is Vice President IoT Telkomsel. Mr. Eric Ananda, Indonesia Country Manager Zebra Technologies Asia Pacific. Mr. Hari Aloysius Haryatmoko, Factory Manager and Digital Transformation Program Manager, PT Indolacto, Indofood, and second Kemal Hadid, Pak Kemal, Director Manufacturing and Process Improvement Metal Indonesia, and then Budi Sulistiarto, Digital Transformation Leader Schneider Electric Batam, and also Pak Fadli Hamsani, General Manager IoT Telkomsel, and also Mr. Daniel Suryanata is from PT Kabono. I said it's very important here. We have 3 Lighthouse National Indonesia in speaker here. Thank you, Pak rekan-rekan dari Schneider, and then from the Kabono, and also from the Telkomsel. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, starting my presentation, I would like to say that Indonesia has fairly large digital economic potential. The development of digital economy in Indonesia is inspirable from the continued growth in the number of the internet users in Indonesia. In South Asia, internet users in Indonesia are the largest and predicted to reach about 124 million internet users in 2025. Potential economic value of the internet comes from the e-commerce, ride hailing, online travel, and online media, which predicted to reach about 134 billion US dollar in 2025. The McKinsey report also calculated the potential use of digital technology in Indonesia until 2025 at about 120 billion US dollar, of which is the manufacturing sector contributed about 34.4 billion US dollar, is the largest among the other sectors like retail, transport, mining, agro, telecommunication, media, health, public sector, utilities, and finance. So the potential Indonesia digital economy is also strengthened by the next 15 years will be a golden age for Indonesia. It will enjoy a demographic bonus peak. The experience of other countries that have achieved the demographic bonus show that the economic growth is much higher than average growth before the demographic bonus. Ladies and gentlemen, until now, the world has gone through 3 industrial revolutions. Precisely starting in 2011, the world has entered the 4th generation industrial revolution, which is widely known as the Industrial Revolution 4.0 or 4AI. Globally, 4AI is characterized by increasing connectivity, interaction, and increasingly convergent boundaries between humans, machines, and other resources through information and communication technology. Here, there are 5 fundamental technologies of technology will have an impact in very close period of time of the competitiveness of country, industry, and or the value chain of the production process. The adoption of these 5 technologies will fundamentally affect the paradigm, business processes, and some in case will force in industry or company to rethink their business model, internal configuration, and value chain arrangements. The 5 technologies are artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, expand robotic, wearable or augmented reality, and 3D printing. Ladies and gentlemen, in the context of implementation of Industrial Revolution 4.0, Indonesia launched Making Indonesia 4.0 roadmap on April 4, 2018 by the President Joko Widodo. The Industrial Revolution 4.0 Indonesia is believed to be a game changer for economic growth and has direct impact on reviving two production sectors. The Industrial Era 4.0 will provide a great opportunity for Indonesia to advance national economic and create more new jobs. Through Making Indonesia 4.0, accelerate the achievement of aspiration to become the 10th largest economy in the world by 2030 by regaining net export position, enhance output, managing costs, and increase 2% R&D spending to GDP. We have to be similar to China. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Industry has prepared 7 main industrial sectors like chemical, food and beverage, textile, automotive, electronic, pharmaceutical, and medical devices is contributed about 70% of the total manufacturing GDP, 65% of manufacturing export, and 60% of industrial workers. And then we have 10 national agenda priority to implementation from Making Indonesia 4.0, from reform material flow to the optimized regulation and policies. The Ministry of Industry believes that this program will able to encourage real GDP growth about 1% to 2% per year, so that the GDP growth per year will increase from the baseline 5% to 7% in period 2018 to 2030, and increase in employment from 20 million to 30 million by 2030, also increasing the contribution of the manufacturing GDP until to 25% by 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, since the official launch of Making 4.0 in 2018, the Ministry of Industry has implemented Industry 4.0 to manufacturing industry sector through various efforts, including assessment, Industry 4.0 Readiness Index, or we call here INDI 4.0, to provide an assessment of the readiness of manufacturing industry companies in the implementation of Industry 4.0. The INDI 4.0 is reference index used by the industry and the government to measure the level of industry readiness toward Industry 4.0. The result of measurement with this index are then used as a reference in identifying challenges, determining strategies, and as basis for determining government policies to encourage industry to transform toward Industry 4.0. In addition, with INDI 4.0, it's hoped that there will be national applicable standard that is used as a measure to assess the readiness of the domestic industry. Here is the INDI 4.0. It consists 5 pillars from management, organization, people, culture, product, and services, technology, and factory operation. And we have 17 fields in our index in the 4.0. And then also Ministry of Industry also developed the Indonesia Digital Industry Center 4.0, or we call here PD, Pusat Industri Digital Indonesia 4.0. I think it's very important for us, maybe all the industry or the technology provider can support us in PD here. Yeah? And then this is the facility in the PD 4.0, like a showcase center, capability center, ecosystem for Industry 4.0, delivery center, and engineering and AI center. I think we hope in the 2022 the operation of the PD will be more many company here to contribute in the PD 4.0. And then I think if we talk about the 5G, we can say here that 5G in Indonesia can drive a big leap for digital innovation in Indonesia. Through 5G, the adoption and innovation of digital technology for digital infrastructure, digital government, digital economy and digital society can be continuously improved. Its many emerging use case of 5G technology in industry and manufacturing, from industrial automation, edge intelligence, supply chain organization, maintenance and device lifecycle management, to factory floor communication, human to human, human to machine, and machine to machine. Ladies and gentlemen, now Indonesia is presidency of G20 2020 forum. The government of Indonesia proposed adding industrial issues in the trade and investment working group to become trade investment industry working group, or TIIWG. In this working group, the priorities issue related to industry, trade and investment will discuss in order to support the recovery of the world economy due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The industrial issue that is planned to brought out in the TIIWG is inclusive and sustainable industrialization via Industry 4.0 is the big theme for strengthening SDGs for the economic recovery. This term is expected to encourage discussion of G20 member countries to accelerate implementation of Industry 4.0, increase equitable access to the technology, mitigate the negative impact of technology change, and strengthen collaboration to support inclusive, sustainable industry and global economic recovery. The issue of Industry 4.0 was chosen because it has the potential to increase productivity and competitiveness, reduce energy and resource consumption, and also to increase resource efficiency and effectiveness. This can provide a significant opportunity for G20 members to increase economic growth while applying the principle of sustainable development to achieve the goal of the SDGs. In addition, I think many studies also show that the manufacturing sectors that has adapted Industry 4.0 is able to be more resilient in the dealing with the crisis, such as the impact of the pandemic. Therefore, the acceleration of the implementation of Industry 4.0 can be industrial solution to be ready to face crisis that may occur in the future. Industry player and other sector respond quickly to be able to carry out digital transformation in the face of impact of the pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic has actually pushed the industry to accelerate the implementation of Industry 4.0 through digital transformation in production system, skill improvement, innovation, partnership with many related parties. So finally, I think we hope through leading Indonesia and ASEAN toward Industry 4.0 through data-driven approach webinar here, we can build collaboration and cooperation between all the stakeholders in Industry 4.0. So implementation of Industry 4.0, especially Indonesia, can encourage industrial and economic growth toward more prosperous world community. This is my speech, Mr. Wong, on all the participants. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Hiro. I think it's a very insightful information to aware actually huge progress on Indonesian on driving Industry 4.0. I think you guys really addressing the hottest issue, how to make the more industry and sector for resilience, which is a very, very good point. And also I think inclusive is also very important, right? As a very big country, how to get, you know, all the ecosystem and stakeholder for participation for the whole country benefit. I think this is also a very, very good point, and we should work together to drive to bring Indonesian and also the ASEAN success. I think this is huge important for the next stage of collaboration. Thanks again for your very good speech. Yes. So now let me introduce our next pair of speaker. So which is from Telkomsel and also Cellular Electric. So let me introduce Mr. Alfian Manulan, the VP of the IoT from Telkomsel, and also his very close partner, Cellular Electric, Budi Sulisterio, who is the digital transformation leader from Cellular Electric. So they will share you about their leading innovation with data-driven approach and also the first 5G factory rollout in Indonesia. Welcome, Alfian. Can you share the screen? Let me stop first.
Thank you, Terence. I will share my screen. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
I think you have the. Oh, sorry, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the session, and also I would like to say thank you for all the respective speaker, Pak Heru, Pak Eric, and also the panelists. Thank you, and I hope everyone in a good health. So I'll start my sharing is about how we do, these digital transformations through IoT, industrial IoT, and also how we use this data to become a data-driven approach. Okay. So first, I would like to bring this is the technology that we are having right now. This is the prime time of modern computer technology. The data that I get from the ARK Invest, if you take a look in 2020, it's around 14 trillion US dollar, and it will become bigger, around 200 trillion in the next 10 years. So we see, this emerging technology like Internet of Things, cloud computing, including 5G within AI, blockchain. So we can use all of this technology, and we cannot, we have to collaborate its technology so that it can bring benefit to us. And if you take a look on the sites, the bigger site, if it is like in here, is around 1 trillion, 100 trillion US dollars. Okay, so next. Okay, so for simplify the message, I call it the ABCDEX modern computer technology. A is for the artificial intelligence or AI IoT. B for the blockchain, and then C is for cloud computing, multi-edge cloud computing. D for data, big data, and also E for the edge. And then the X is anything else within the technology. So you need to fully integrate this technology, not to have a standalone one. You need to collaborate with the other technology. This technology can transform our data into insight, from insight into action, and action into value. Either it is cost avoidance, such as cost saving in production, or it is grow sales in our business. So we have to consider that when we implement, this digital transformation, is not only one technology, but it consists of several technology. So what is in 5G? So this is the currency of 5G, where we have, this high throughput, speed and capacity. We have the low latency and high reliability, and also the connectivity that will transform everything. If we take a look, what will be the difference between 4G and 5G? It will minimum, the improvement is 10x. So 10x mean can be anything. it can double your productivity, it can improve your efficiency. So it is like the new economy, like currently we are working with the Internet 2.0. Now we are entering, the Internet 3.0, where blockchain available. And what the interesting thing is that there is a lot of things that we can do that previously impossible. So we think 5G is an innovation platform. For the last 4 years, Telkomsel has invested significantly to build our know-how, talent development, set up comprehensive plan to bring 5G into Indonesia. With its currency that I previously talked, we see that a 5G can transfer a big amount of data in real time. 5G will facilitate advanced technology and analytics, such as metaverse, artificial intelligence, automation, industrial IoT. We will bring faster, browsing speed, give instant cloud access services, and more interactive digital content. How to create value is how we can innovate on top of it. The key is collaboration. Even I call it the massive collaboration. The ability to collaborate is more simple and easy method become our advantage. The collaboration is the answer for benefiting this technology. Okay, now I'm come the possible 5G development scenario. This is the possible use of 5G development. It can be public, semi-public, local, private development. Every development has their own characteristic in flexibility, privacy, QoS, network type implementation. So we need to look at again to our business case, how this development fit to our needs. Okay, I'll talk about the private network, the technology itself. Now, if we took on the private network, it's really come down into real 6 key success factors that we summary. Number 1 is certainly the simplicity, how you can get access to this private network. Number 2, is it flexible on how you're able to work with different solution provider, the partner, the network equipment provider, operator, and devices to be able to get the business outcome in a secure manner. And third is about the control. How much the control versus cost you want actually to put into the play. And overall, what is the benefit having a private network so that you're not moving tons and tons of data over the network, which actually costs you a lot of money. And then the cloud, how cloud can be scaled, and how we think more about this automated application, more of this new capability can be unlocked by AI and ML as well. And ultimately, how do you want to get the support all of this? How do you make sure there is a seamless way to support all these applications, the network itself, and the actual outcome? So what is a private cellular? If you take a look on the right side, private cellular is actually a dedicated resources managed locally on the actual infrastructure and the connectivity. And then it really provides more local coverage and capacity. It's incredibly important to think through. The difference between the public and the private is, if you think about, it's about the coverage. If in the public, maybe you cannot get the coverage that you may need using public network. You are working absolutely with the consumer and enterprise also with the public network. So it's a shared infrastructure, and it is also managed by someone else, such as a network operator like Telkomsel. So if you want to have a full control, bringing everything in the private, then you have to think like, do you want to have like a standalone core, the standalone radio, and plus the ads on all of your premises? So now, what is the difference with 4G, 5G, and Wi-Fi 6? So the question is, do we really need a private network, or something like Wi-Fi will fit the bill? And when you think of these key differences, you actually look at Wi-Fi being, it is of course low-cost option because it is running on unlicensed spectrum, but it's really a best support. There are really key advantages using Wi-Fi, such as huge of device ecosystem as well. And if you take a look on the disadvantage of Wi-Fi, it's really that it is not supporting real mobility use cases, and there is no resiliency, reliability in Wi-Fi. If you flip on the other side using cellular, taking aside whether it's a 5G or a 4G in private network, you got a true mobility, and definitely you got low latency, and you got this ability to handle a set number of devices greater without interference. Why in Wi-Fi you will experience a lot of interferences. So actually now, why enterprise interested in private cellular? So why enterprise really interested? Many industry actually using private network for a long time, such as utility industry has been developing out this private network for their field area network for a long time until the recent day. Security is actually big number one, that your data really sit within the organization inside your control is the big reason. And then why you think about data cost again, we talk about that not to transporting it and out across the fixed network or the wireless really will reduce the cost of opportunity. Performance, where you can actually guarantee a service level where public network or other technology cannot guarantee a service level coverage. So you may be in a remote location, but actually you cannot get an adequate coverage. So with private, actually you can get coverage where you need it. And then the best effort. Ultimately, public cellular is more about best effort in terms of handling your traffic and also your needs. So as you think private network is as a new connective fabric, it is a dedicated one. It is optimized and highly secure. That leads to this mission critical use cases. What you wanted is really to show that we will show some real work example, real case study in Telkomsel that we work with, and I hope give you an idea and what are the type of use cases, what are the type of devices, what are the type of business problem you can solve with this problem. After this, Mr. Budi from Schneider Electric Batam will show the implementation of 5G private network. I hope we can learn from it. Okay, private network component. If you take a look, just the basic, it is the right enterprise setting that you need this mission critical technology on how much the connectivity infrastructure you want to have in private environment. Let's say it is the radio, it is the edge, or is it a standalone core? If you want to have a full control and bringing even a standalone core, the radio and the edge, you may have the most secure network, you may have the most reliable network, and you may have also the best performance on latency. But how much more is the cost increasing, and what will be the benefit? There will be trade-off at what you are looking at. And then the MEC, multi-access edge computing. The motivation of the multi-access edge computing is to bring the power of cloud computing to the nearest source where data is generated, so that technology like artificial intelligence, machine learning, advanced analytics can run and solve business problem. With edge computing, industry can maintain also a sensitive data from the IoT communication, so that it is localized and also only sending non-scientific information if necessary to the cloud for further processing. So we have some trial collaboration in industry for the smart manufacturing. I later on Pak Budi will bring. In smart mining, we have also preferred running, and then we've been also running this compare also previously using Wi-Fi and then replacing it with the 5G private network. So in Wi-Fi, typically you get, this 15 to 20 megabits per second throughput. You get around 20 to 40 millisecond latency, and every 50 meters you are having to you need to have this another access point, and then you don't have this slicing, which is a cloud native capability, and you having a lot of handover from another access point to another access point. In 5G, what we see is with these use cases, they get around 100 megabits throughput. The latency between 8 to 14 millisecond latency. You need to install another radio unit in every 700. Then it support network slicing, and the security is also very good because you're using SIM card. Then the handover and then the application is run very smooth. And we're working also with the industrial like Jababeka, how we support this industrial complex or park so that they can transform their client and customer in this complex. So what will be the benefit? The benefit is in productivity. You can do more with the same. You get the efficiency. You do the same with less, let's just inventory cost, safety and sustainability. You do not harm, and you are being also keep green. So now I will talk about the big data benefit in manufacturing. First is about creating transparency, making big data more accessible to relevant stakeholder. You can create, tremendous value. In manufacturing, many companies have used big data to improve their performance in R&D, production software, and also in their supply chain management. Integrating this unit can reduce, the waste caused by rework design, and there's also you can accelerate the time to market. Segmenting population to customize action. Big data allow organizations to create highly specific segmentation and also to tailor the product and services precisely to meet those customer needs. Supporting human decision making also a very big benefit, because with analytics you can substantially improve decision making, you can minimize risk, and you can uncover the hidden value that the data that you are having right now. And then last is about you can innovate your business, your product, your services, so that you can target the new segment or the new area as well. If we take a look, what will be the value in manufacturing, we see that you can have like 50% decrease in product development cost, 7% reduction in your working capital. In demand forecasting and supply chain, you can increase your profit margin up to 2 and 3%. And in efficiency, in after sales, you can reduce your maintenance costs up to 40%. So the benefit is proven, and the other presenters and panelists will show how the benefit they can have. Okay, so about data strategy or data analytics, the big truth of implementation. If you take a look at in our recent survey as well, we heard from the McKinsey that 85% of IoT initiative is stuck in the pilot project, and actually IoT is actually part of this data analytics initiative or big data. And in IDC also saying that this big data or data project is failing due to lack of comprehensive view. And 50% of the problem is actually in data acquisition. So IoT is really bringing and helping you how you can get data from your processes, from your device, or from your employee as well. So why many corporate fail to be data-driven organizations? Actually, number one, because they are not starting with a very clear business objective. Because data-driven organization is not about the technology, it's not about AI, ML, it's cloud computing, but it's about people and culture. Lack of compelling business case, also the main focus. Usually they don't have, the C-level sponsor, so it's very hard for them to try. And then business stakeholder also not ready to incorporating any data analytics into their business process and decision making. So, all talent also become an issue because you need talent and lack of strategic alignment. So a lot of day-to-day challenges they are having from silo organization, hard to get the access data. It's about the privacy, many system generated data, and it is an overlap information. All these problems generate why a lot of company felt into to be a data-driven organization. So I would like to bring a more practical 10-step creating a data-driven culture. Number one, it coming actually from the top. Data-driven culture starts from the top-level management by leading through example. If top manager demonstrate the normal practice of data-driven decision-making, their action can change the norm in company-wide. This practice will propagate downward. And then choose the metrics with care and cunning. Leader can affect on the behavior by choosing what to measure and what metric they expected the employee to use. So number three, don't pigeonhole your data scientists in isolated department. Data scientists sometimes often isolated within the company. To provide value analytic, you must work with the rest of the company. Trying to make boundary between business and data scientists will be more porous and fusing domain knowledge and technical know-how. Fix the basic data access issue quickly. As I said previously, to prevent data gridlock, so it is very good to open your data to all the organization so that everybody can have, and also to have a play and then to create value and benefit from this data. And also is use analytics to help employee, not for customer. So motivate employee also to learn new data handling skill by showing it can save the time and helping them to avoid rework or fetching frequently needed information. Then it will be benefiting for employee, not also for the customer. And we'll be willing to trade flexibility and consistency. Don't waste time to trying to reconcile different version or metric or variant coding standard. Instead, pick the metric and programming language that are standard across the business. And then number 10 is about getting habit of asking the team to explain their analytics choices, how they approach the problem, what the alternative they consider, what are the understood of the trade-off, why they choose one approach over another into conclusion. Give them this insight so that they can think and from the assumption. The bottom line is simply aspiring data-driven is not enough. To be the data-driven organization, company must develop culture and mindset, and leader can promote this through the example by practicing new habit, creating expectation from what it really means to root decision making. So in Telkomsel, we do one-stop solution from consulting, designing, device software, analytics. We do all of this so that we can help customer not only having, from, a basic descriptive and diagnostic, but also to become data-driven with predictive and also prescriptive the analytics. And then to embrace the changes with the ABC2D technology that I mentioned earlier. One and one technology is not two, but it can be 11. ABC, not 3, but become 111. Because if you combine the power of AI, 5G, edge computing, then you can you have the speed and the reliability, and you can get exponential usefulness and impact to business by using those technology. It is like when you operate a PC in earlier days, single PC only do a very limited computational, but when the PC is connected, then the possibility is endless. So you need to evaluate, and if you are still using your old technology, then you are maybe running in this turtle or also the rabbit, but everybody else will be running like the cheetah if they are using this technology. And then this is my last presentation. I believe every company is a digital company. Company needs A, B, C, D, E, X technology as a tools. They need fully integrated, not standalone. You need to collaborate with the other technology. 5G is really enabler platform for innovations, and digital transformation and data-driven organization is not a project. It is a strategy, it's a journey, focus on people, process, and business objective. So it really matters. So Industry 4.0 is not a destination, it's a journey process. So it is need the right partner to go beyond, and collaboration is the key. Thank you very much. This is my final presentation. Back to you, Terence.
Hey, hi. Thanks, Alfian. I think now pass to Budi from Cellular Electric.
Okay, thank you, Terence. All right, is my screen visible now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to say thank you to all the participants who are already joining this session today. And then thank you also to Mr. Terence, Mr. Heru, Mr. Alfian, and all the speakers, and also the panelists today. So to continue what has been explained by Alfian from Telkomsel, so today I would like to share about how Schneider Electric Manufacturing Batam and also Telkomsel are working together. This is also the key that previously already explained by Heru and also Alfian. We need to have more collaborations with others, even like technology provider or business to business. So that's why today I would like to share how Schneider and Telkomsel collaborations about 5G pilot implementations. All right. Okay. So yeah, the use cases that we are starting in Schneider Electric Manufacturing Batam, we have 4 main use cases actually. That this is on the pipelines, and then we have another 2 use cases that's in explorations. So yeah, in Schneider Electric, we are choosing one technology of 5G from Schneider Electric, from Telkomsel. So we are using isolated 5G private network that previously already explained by Alfian, because we are concerning about the cybersecurity and also how we can optimize and utilize this 5G network in our smart manufacturing. The 4th use cases that we are starting, first is about a live virtual tour. Second is about second and third is talking about the IoT technology, which is AR, and also EcoStruxure Machine Advisor. This is for fleet management and also machines parameter monitoring. And 4th is talking about AI deep learning for mobile inspections. As you can see in the right side, so in the right side, this is the actual installations in our factory in Schneider right now. So the hardware already installed and established in our factory, and then 5G network already available. But now we are on progressing to set up the configurations of internet and also cybersecurity to connect between Schneider firewall and also Telkomsel firewall. Yeah, talking the detail about the use cases. First is about live virtual tour. So Schneider Electric Manufacturing Batam as one of the national lighthouse in Indonesia and also one of the global lighthouse WF. We got a lot of request visits, not only the physical visits but also online visits. So that's why we are provide a live streaming tour for this visits. And up to now, we already connect about 14 countries from 3 continents, and more than thousands people are connecting virtually with us. You can imagine that in the busy time, so sometimes the bandwidth and the connectivity become slower, right? So that's why we got this opportunity to join with Telkomsel to utilize the 5G network. This is very good and very impressive to us. So we can give more in the customer experience. We can give them like more first impression, better impressions. You can imagine, right? If we are watching YouTube or watching movie and then lagging or buffering, then we can get a bad mood. So that's why we prevent those kind of lagging and also the bad like video result to our customer. Okay, the next use cases is about IIoT. As mentioned before by Pak Heru and Pak Alfian, most of the industry right now connect all the devices, all the machine through IIoT. So more and more machine or devices are connected to this IoT system. More bigger the data also. So of course, the connectivity and the network need to improve to be faster as well, to be have in low latency and also high throughput and so on. So that's why we also choose this use cases in our factory to connect all the machines directly to gather the parameter data, critical parameter data, and then to collect into the data lake as an big data, and later on will be analyzed using the artificial intelligence or also the data analytics. But in here we have a bit a challenge because not all of our machines are in 5G native. So this is also, I think, a big opportunity to the technology provider to provide like a sensor or any devices that have 5G native later on, and then we can easily to connect from the machine directly to the cloud using the 5G network as well. In detail about IoT use cases in Schneider, yeah, we are implementing AR, augmented reality. The first, this is the detail architecture, and then we are implementing also fleet management. Same concept of IoT actually, but different platform to monitor the machine itself. And then fourth use cases. So we would like to optimize our AI vision inspections, deep learning to optimize our inspection in our productions manufacturing. So previously we are implementing like vision camera, and then after that we improving to deep learning technology using AI vision inspections. And then with this opportunity with Telkomsel, we would like to optimize and utilize a 5G network in our factory. So from vision camera directly connect to a 5G network with a 5G native capability and send all the image or video directly to the cloud. And then after that, send back to the judgment result. Either is good or bad, something like that. So with the 5G network with low latency, we can imagine that we can improve a lot of inspections in our factory. This is in explorations. So as you know that right now, maybe last 2 years we have a COVID-19 situations pandemic, And then like now we are connected people connect to people, machine connect to machines, people connect to machines. And then this is for the smart glasses. We can improve our machines troubleshootings. So we no need to invite our supplier or machine maker or expert from outside to be physically in our factory, but using this smart glass, they can remotely assist us to solve the issue that we have in our factory. But now we are still trying to get the smart glass with 5G native. So maybe from other company or a solution provider who already have a smart glasses with 5G native, then we can discuss later. And this is what we are explore also internally in Schneider. Schneider also one of the company that as a software provider, a technology provider as well, like EcoStruxure for IIoT, and then PLC, HMI, and so on. So with growing of 5G technology, 5G network in the world. So we would like to improve our product as well to be in a 5G native. So previously we are connecting from PLC to HMI using the cable. And now we would like to explore and improve our PLC and HMI to be in 5G native. So meaning to say that there is no cable anymore connect from PLC to HMI and so on. The last, yeah, this is just want to share about the actual installations of this 5G hardware in our factory in Schneider. So here is the server room, and this is all the thing related to 5G hardware. And this is our innovation hub in Schneider Electric Manufacturing Batam, where usually we are conducting the live tour to our customer in here. And this is our production line for the use case 1, 2, 3 about the live tour in our productions, and then IIoT connections, and also visions camera with AI deep learning connections in our production software. So this 5G network will cover all of production area in second floor. The last, this is the picture of the actual installation of 5G in Schneider Electric Manufacturing Batam. So again, thanks to Telkomsel, which the one of the biggest 5G provider in Indonesia as well, to select us and also give opportunity to Schneider Electric to utilize the 5G in our factory, in our manufacturing. Thank you. That's all from me to share about the collaborations between Schneider Electric and Telkomsel to utilize 5G network in our factory. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Terence.
Thanks, Budi, and also Alfian. I think it's a very good example to see as a pioneer, what are the pioneer use case in 5G. I think it's a very concrete example to demonstrate how, even during the COVID impact, how the 5G can, allow remote support, right, from your supplier. I think this is a very good example mentioned about this resilience challenge, right, during the pandemic period. And of course, I think it's a very good learning from Alifan about how private network, Wi-Fi, 5G, what are the differences and what are the benefits for mobile edge computing as a very new technology, how it supplements about the capability for not only cloud, but also now the processing power can be shifted to the edge side to increase more use cases. And of course, a huge amount of data collected can support a very transparent of end-to-end productivity improvement. So thanks again. Next, I would like to introduce our next speaker, who is from Cyber Technology. Mr. Eric Ananda, Indonesian Country Manager from Cyber Technology, is going to share us about data-driven operating excellence for manufacturing and logistics. It's very important for traceability and accountability. So Eric, please. Yes, I can see your slide.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope you can see my slide. Okay, sounds good. So good afternoon, Pak Heru Kustanto from the Ministry of Industry, Pak Terence Wong from GSMA, and all the speakers. Also, good afternoon to all the participants. Yeah, and hope that you and your family are well and in good health. My name is Eric Ananda, so I'm based in Jakarta, and my role here is to lead and grow the Zebra Indonesia business and into our focus industries. So we have 4 focus industries such as manufacturing, transportation and logistics, retail, and healthcare. Okay, so as far as the agenda, we have a jam-packed agenda this afternoon. I'm going to begin with the state of business of manufacturing and supply chain, and maybe share top 5 trends. Then we will move into unpack one key topic, which is operational feasibility, and why this is important to achieve data-driven operational excellence. After that, we will take a look into how we can be data-driven by leveraging the Industry 4.0 vision. Last but not least, I will also share who is Zebra Technologies and how Zebra Technologies solutions and ecosystems can be brought to life. Okay, so let's begin by recognizing that manufacturing and supply chain complexity is very complex, and it's caused by a variety of factors, of course, right? Such as the result of rising customer expectations for faster lead times, expanded products and services, and tailored experiences. These factors force brand owners, these are the manufacturers, of course, right, to support more unique orders from the customers across their supply chain. And that alone required greater collaboration with all the partners, improved inventory management from suppliers, and of course, deeper visibility and control into all supply chain steps. Now, take a look at the experience of COVID-19, right? It has opened the door to broader adoption of digitization and acceptance of the need for an approach that transcends silos, all right, within enterprises. And that includes the ability to see goods at the piece level in real time at any point in the chain, and to take corrective action as soon as a sign of an actual or imminent disruption occurs. Okay, so these are the top 5 supply chain and logistics trends that I can cite, in 2022. So let's take a look at sustainability, right? So in recent years, there's a rising number of multinational corporations that have pledged to work only with suppliers, right, that adhere to social and environmental standards, for example. So typically, these MNCs expect their first-tier suppliers to comply with those standards, and they ask that those suppliers in turn ask their compliance, ask for compliance from their suppliers, and so on and so forth. So the aim is to create a cascade of sustainable practices that flow smoothly throughout supply chain, or as we prefer to call it, the supply network. It is an admirable idea, of course, right? But it's very hard to realize in practice. Yeah. And talk about transportation networks, okay? So more connected transportation networks here, right? So it can be about, achieving greater customer coverage and service level commitments. And this can be achieved usually by using IoT innovation that has real-time tracking of shipments, rideshare, and crash prevention technologies, including route optimization or smart logistics. Number 3 is all about middle mile optimization. Okay, so everyone that work for supply chain must know that in supply chain, there are split into 3 segments, the first mile, the middle mile, and the last mile. Okay, so middle mile optimization is important to ensure greater customer coverage and to achieve service level commitments. Changing customer demand, right? So I think this has something to do with the escalating expectation from the customer. Yeah. So what are these? We want faster delivery times, production on demand, instantly available order status updates. Okay. Like every day we have been buying from the large e-commerce platform, for example, and we tend to check every now and then on the status of our orders, right? So in short, the more people know, the more they want to know. Yeah. So manufacturing and supply chain professionals, such as yourself, need to be able to respond to the changing customer demand. Yeah. One example that you can do this is, you can improve transparency throughout the order process through IoT sensors at the factory, for example, and then smart pallets, RFID tracking for inventory. Okay, now, lastly, you talk about, of course, artificial intelligence. I think it's been discussed and expanded, yeah, by the previous speakers as well. Yeah. So AI-based technology can help to achieve greater efficiencies through best next move guidance. Okay, allowing AI and human to work together harmoniously. Yeah. So the fear that the AI will take over human, we have been hearing about this, but the idea at the moment is definitely not to do that. Okay, so, but AI and human can work together, right? And the result is much more accurate data capture, higher productivity, and definitely less human error. Okay, let's take a look now at the key topic that I mentioned earlier that is very important if you would like to achieve data-driven operational effectiveness. Okay, so we need to begin with what we call operational feasibility. Yeah, and this also, of course, spans from the source and to the destination, right? Number one, that we need to take into account is a factor called silos. Yeah, I think we know if we are in any organization, we have silos in the department, silos in the communication between employees, and definitely in the data that we have as well. Yeah. So, for example, I would say automotive manufacturing companies, right? Usually they comprise of manufacturing, procurement, logistics, marketing, and of course sales. Yeah. So each of these departments has its own specialty agenda and goals, and the coordination of these goals and the benchmarks are very rarely aligned. Okay, even though each of these entities has a critical function in creating a productive end-to-end supply chain and experience, information and data is often passed one department at a time, almost like a game of a telephone, right? Something that we know from our childhood, right? So crucial data points can morph and evolve. Yeah. So this can increase the potential for error and possible disruption along various points of the supply chain. In addition, this is time consuming. And in most cases, the conditions and details have changed before it reaches all those required to make an informed decisions. Yeah. And then take a look at the impacts of the a rise of the omni-channel. Yeah, we know that omni-channel fulfillment can be simply understood, yeah, as the whole process from the time the customer orders to the time the merchandise is delivered to the end users, to people like us, yeah, as a consumer. So it includes, of course, the pickup, warehousing, packaging, and delivery to the buyer on time. And this is very important, right? Because of the escalating, we live in an on-demand economy, right? Where we want everything to be fast, to be transparent, and of course, we need to in the way we shop, right? We tend to leverage both e-commerce or online, and then we still go to the stores as well. Yeah. So this is what becomes the rise of omni-channel, and the impacts of commercial outcomes, right? Definitely, rising costs to source. Rising cost to manufacture and to deliver the products as well. Customer experience and retention level can be at risk, yeah, and sustainable growth and profitability is on question. Yeah, so it comes to the question, and what is the true operational feasibility, right? Yeah, I think at the moment we have been 2 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And I think businesses that we know of are dealing with a landscape in which surging customer demand in one area coexists with strict lockdowns elsewhere. And that will crack open wider gaps in the global supply chain. On top of this, companies are also, I guess, fighting, right, with global shortages. Yeah, Sibra is also part of that example, right? Especially in the semiconductors, but also other things like aluminum, rare earth minerals, and so forth. Yeah. So among these sources of disruption, organizational resilience has emerged as a board priority. While today's, I would say, supply chain disruption is unprecedented, yeah, the means for dealing with it are not with real solutions to improve end-to-end visibility, simulation, and risk monitoring. Yeah. So we come to the advances of technology, for example, IoT sensors, artificial intelligence, and software such as control towers, right? That that really help the businesses to put that end-to-end visibility, yeah, at hand. Okay. Okay, so this is a typical supply chain, right? From plan to make, and then to storing it in a warehouse, transporting it, fulfilling it to the customer, and then we need to also think about, hey, how about returns and repair management, right? And of course, how to deal with the recycling or scrap management. Yeah. So I bet everyone must remember about the toilet crisis, right? That we have at the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah, people are rushing to the supermarket to buy toilet roll. Supply chain seems to be invisible, right? When you can get the way you want at the time that you want it. But when things go wrong, it gets the blame for everything. Yeah. So, I mean, the first reaction that you should go, I mean, like, what happened to the supply chain? Like, we don't have it on stock. Yeah. So that's why people are rushing, and the next thing you try to find toilet paper is you cannot find it. Yeah. So supply chain is very complex, and I think it involves multi-stakeholder. Yeah. I think to get, for example, to get food on the table, or products or components to factories and distribution centers, that has been under severe threat after the world was forced to pivot to digital in 2020. People are still not ready, yeah, in the beginning of 2020. So that involves, how do suppliers, manufacturers, and retailers keep their customers and employees happy, right? Managing that disruption, right? And yet at the same time, to be productive and also thrive in this new normal. Yeah. So data gives enterprise-wide teams insight into how much waste is produced, for example, and if quality and regulatory standards are being met, and how to optimize production. So by checking quality at every stage, quality teams can detect issues early and avoid the cost of wastage and preempt any reputational damage, of course, right, from that bad quality products. So a data-driven supply chain delivers real-time visibility, as well as more predictable and definitely adaptable fulfillment. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss all of these, but these are some of the categories of areas, right, that when you apply data-driven, right, then you can achieve that operational excellence. I'm just gonna maybe uncover a few of these. Okay, let's start with maybe worker productivity. Okay, so worker productivity is all about how to accurately and proactively measure your productivity, the worker productivity. At the moment, I'm sure that all of us are still using timesheet, but we know that timesheet is very reactive and passive, and I think at some level can be abused as well, right? So a solution, maybe we can use mobile devices that can be tracked for utilization. Yeah. Inventory control, for example. So managing inventory control is definitely very important, right? That can impact your business, your profitability, and your cost control as well. So starting with accurate inventory count, right? Then I think that's very important. Then of course you can move to other areas as well, more advanced areas such as inventory collaboration, right, with your tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers, for example. And of course, quality management. Yeah, so quality management can be achieved by automation, right? Automated quality inspection using machine vision. Yeah. Okay, so now I think comes to this slide where I would like to discuss on how are we going to achieve the 4.0 vision and mission. Okay, so what can we say about what we can say about achieving this mission and vision is we cannot do it alone, right? So if you see the simple diagram on the right, you can see there's a lot of technological pillars in Industry 4.0, right? And I think no single vendor can fulfill, right, all of those pillars, yeah, by just working alone, yeah. So this is why I think collaboration within this ecosystem is very important. And then, however, we need to start by identifying and prioritizing data, yeah. So we need to have a structured and expeditious data capture processing, yeah, which will start at the edge of the enterprise. Okay, unfortunately, data capture doesn't start at the back end, okay, not at the data center, but at the what happened at the edge. What happened if your workers at the manufacturing floor or in the warehouse floor, right, capture that data, yeah. So companies can deploy best-in-class solutions such as enterprise mobility, system of records such as ERP, and also warehouse management systems, for example, manufacturing systems, right? But also important to share these critical data insights in a secure cloud-based environment, right? Okay, let's take a look at the video now.
One action, one decision is all it takes to unleash powerful waves of transformation, impacting teams, businesses, communities, and lives. What if you could enable this effect and meet the demands of immediacy and operational excellence across your organization? The benefits would be exponential, resulting in a dynamic force that touches and transforms everything. Activating this force requires gaining greater visibility into all aspects of your operations and elevating every team and frontline worker to their absolute highest potential, enhancing experiences, exceeding expectations, fueling pride and fulfillment, igniting remarkable growth, freeing them from silos and inefficiencies so that they can focus on what's most important and move towards higher, more meaningful contributions, connecting them to each other and to the right data to guide smarter decisions as the moment unfolds, allowing them to work intuitively with and alongside machines more intelligently and effortlessly than ever before. Because when you and your teams are fully enabled and empowered to do your best work, this force not only boosts individual success and drives better experiences for those you serve, it also travels all the way back to strengthen the core of your organization, creating an unstoppable momentum, a competitive advantage that keeps going and doesn't let up, allowing you to capture your performance edge only with Zebra. One moment, one action.
Okay, so I think there's a short video. There's actually a Zebra introduction video. So I hope by now you understand a glimpse of what we do, right? From the video, you can see that actually Zebra is actually present, right? Whether you realize it or not in all walks of life, yeah. So Zebra Technologies definitely is a leader in edge products and solutions. Okay, so if you see from the slide here, we are #1 in rugged mobile computing, #1 in data capture, we're #1 in barcode printing, and #1 in mobile RFID. In fact, we are one of the most the most complete RFID portfolios are there in the market. Okay, and just to share on our journey, right? So we started 53 years ago in 1969. Okay, And I think I will just mention some of the accomplishments, right, or some of the important milestone. Yeah. So I think you can see there that we did strategic acquisitions, for example, through Explore, Temtime, Profitec, and Reflexes. So Explore is a rugged tablet, Temtime is a barcode sensor, Profitec is a prescriptive analytics, and Reflexes is a workforce augmentation. Yeah, and last year, 2021, we did two very important acquisitions. Number one is on acquisitions of Intuit.ai. So Intuit.ai is an AI-powered demand forecast and omni-channel inventory optimization, while Fetch Robotics is basically an autonomous mobile robots, or AMR. So for decades, our promise to the customer has stayed the same. We want to help you to achieve your performance edge, yeah, and to transform your front lines, right? But what does it mean, right? True digital transformation means that every asset and worker is visible and connected and optimized, right? Basically, Zebra's business is to connect the people, the data, and the workflow. Yeah. You can see there, basically Zebra customers are gaining a performance edge, right? You can see that there's 4 examples, such as ensuring food safety across the supply chain, modernizing warehouses and distribution centers for e-commerce demands, and increasing basket size and reducing shrink in stores, for example. And in the healthcare, we increase bed turns and improving safety in the hospital. I have 2 use cases here, one in manufacturing and one supply chain. So the one in manufacturing, definitely, I think in terms of asset tracking, right? It can be used to track non-fixed asset, yeah, in the factory environment, and that alone will help asset downtime. Yeah, minimize asset downtime, optimize asset productivity, and of course maintenance as well. In the warehouse, we can optimize workflows to through mobility, yeah, and this is using rugged mobile devices, whether it's a PDA or a tablet, right? And of course, team communication between the workers can be dramatically improved, right? Using a software called Workforce Connect, yeah. And Workforce Connect enable the workers to communicate using push to talk, or PTT, yeah. So it will require only one device to view from the screen, work from the screen, to scan, and to be able to communicate at the same time, yeah. Real-time operational visibility, yeah, I think it's definitely we need more efficient workflow, right? You see in the video, I think one of the use cases is using a head-mounted display, yeah, connected with a mobile device, so that the worker can get the best next move guidance straight to his head-mounted display, right? So if you imagine that you are guided by the machine, right, to do the task, right, it will be more efficient, faster, yeah. Okay, and in conclusion, right? In conclusion, on Zebra, this is the solution portfolio from Zebra. So we call what we do have what we call purpose-built hardware, right? So why is it purpose-built, right? Because these are not consumer-grade hardware. Yeah, these are hardware that is meant to do the job, yeah, in the industry, such as high-performance printers, intelligent mobile computers, rugged tablets, right, scanners, RFID solutions. We also have workflow optimized accessories as well, such as the head-mounted display. Yeah, and all of these we also have software, right, on algorithms and prescriptive analytics, tracking and location technology, and also we are backed by an unmatched service and support. Yeah, and of course, on top of this, we are also supported, by a lot of Zebra's ecosystem independent software vendors, ISVs, but also resellers, right, with their own solutions. So they take Zebra devices and bundle it together and offer it to the customer. Okay, this is my last slide. Okay, so basically, I agree that from the past presenters that, hey, we need to work together. We need to form a collaboration, right? No single vendor can work alone. But hey, we need to start small, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So we need to to think big and start small. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope it is beneficial for all of you.
Thanks, Eric. Very comprehensive information. Great to hear how super technology, success in different domains, and also very open to work together. I think this is a very good message to people. Just remind, we still have a 40-minute panel and also a sharing about the perspective in China about manufacturing. So stay tuned. Now let me introduce the next speaker, which is the moderator of the section about integration for Industry 4.0. So let me introduce Fadi Hamsani, the GM from Industrial IoT of Telkomsel. Fadi, your turns.
Yes, thank you, Terence. Okay, so we will start. Thank you very much, Terence. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to Pak Heru Kustanto from the Ministry of Industry that giving us a lot of the information about where is the government now supporting on this accelerating on the Industry 4.0 in Indonesia by the program of the Making Indonesia 4.0, and also with creating an ecosystem. And then now we are here with all the champion of the Industry 4.0 in Indonesia. First of all, I would like to invite, before that, maybe I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fadli, that now I'm leading the Industrial IoT of the Telkomsel, that we are focused on the vertical industry and also supporting on the implementation of the industrial IoT on the manufacturing sector and others vertical industry in Indonesia. So now I have 3 guests here as a speaker panelists with me. So I would like to invite my first speaker, Mr. Daniel Surya. He is a technical director of the and the board of director of the Akebono Brake Astra Indonesia. Welcome, Pak Daniel, Mr. Daniel.
Hello, Pak Fadli.
Hello, Mr. Daniel. Thank you. How are you, Pak?
Okay, Pak. Good.
Thank you, Pak Daniel. And Pak Daniel is the technical director of the Akebono Brake Astra, which is have a lot of experience on the transforming their factory to become the one of the champion of Industry 4.0 on the automotive sector, especially for the component. So yeah, we are really happy to have you here, Pak. And the second speaker, I have with me Mr. Kemal Hadid. Hello, Pak Kemal.
Hi, good afternoon, Pak Fadli. Good
afternoon, Pak Kemal. Nice to meet you again. So Pak Kemal is the manufacturing and process improvement from Mattel Indonesia. So he is the director of the manufacturing and process improvement, and he have a lot of experience. I know very well that he's transforming from the lean manufacturing, after that using the next level of the solution of the digitalization on this industry for the toys industry. And today maybe we would like to understand also where you are now and what is the next for the metal. I think this is something that really interesting to discuss. And the last and not least, I have my old friend, I can say that, which is play around a lot on the digitalization on the food and bev. Mr. Aloysius Haryatmoko, or Pak Hari. Welcome, Pak Hari.
Yes, Pak Fadli. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Pak Hari. We are really excited to know where is Indolacto as a part of the group Indofood today, especially for the food and bev, on running your journey in digitalization, and also to look on what you are looking on and what is your next journey of accelerating your Industry 4.0, that's what we call the data-driven. So yeah, we have a good time now, and we have a very limited time, but I would like to get a lot of sharing for everybody now in the panelists. So I will go through to Pak Daniel. It's like Pak Heru mentioning that the government is supporting, and you are one of the champion or in the industry 4.0 from the automotive company in Indonesia. So what is your next level of what is the next journey, or maybe what you will use on the data usage from your part of your digital transformation journey today? Pak Daniel, time is yours.
Thank you, Pak Fadli. This is our sharing. Our company started digitizing by taking production data directly from the machine and displaying it on the monitor. But not all machine can detect all the data. So we need some modify for old machine with IP sensor, QR code, RFID. From the data taken, it can be managed into the production output, line performance, cycle time, and so on. So from the data collected, we can manage the OEE performance and make improvement for the better achievement. Output production data can develop into the data store from the line. It can be used for transaction. When product in the store taken with, we use in here in manufacturing using Kanban. We modify the Kanban by QR code, put RFID in the Kanban. It will automatically reduce the stock. So it make operator good helpful. No need administration work in the paper. Just scan. The Kanban system will automatically calculate in the store. Data management from store, process, reject, and receiving part can utilize when the lean manufacturing in process already will implement it. And data taken in the production line can be integrated horizontally between processes and continue connected to customer and supplier. It becomes as a big data. It can be processed to assist floor management in making action or improvement to produce better performance. Especially if it assists by artificial intelligence, we can make minimize wrong action in the shop floor. Because with simple AI, like make some limitation parameter, system can make intention or warning if we mistake. At the next level, when the data is processed with financial and ERP integration, the company performance can be monitoring by real time. So top management can find out the company is okay, profit or not. So this will be help to top management to take quickly action or make a strategy for the future. Big data is very important for company to make quick action, priority decision, and strategy for the future. I think like this, Mr. Fadli.
Amazing. Thank you very much for this sharing information, Pak Daniel. And I'm sure that you have done a lot of things on your vertical integration. And we will go on the detail a bit on that portion, Pak Daniel. We are talking on this panelist about the heading this 2020 on the accelerating the industry 4.0. Now, I'm mentioning just now with Pak Daniel about the vertical integration. But now I want to move first to Pak Kemal in Mattel. So vertical integration, horizontal integration. So now I try to go more on the horizontal, Pak Kemal. So how do you see and what is your expectation of your horizontal integration using the data for your maybe connected supplier, or what do you think about this portion, Pak Kemal?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Pak Fadli, and thank you for having me here. Actually, it's a very interesting question, right? Naturally, when we go into Industry 4.0 journey, definitely we will talk about improving ourselves first, right? The vertical integration, just like Pak Daniel mentioned, we do connected all of our machines to the centralized database and producing real-time dashboard for us to make a decision. However, the nature of Mattel's business manufacturing, is like discrete manufacturing, right? So we have thousands of machines and this machine is not only installed or running in our premise. It's also we have also some vendors which is not like 1 week or 2 weeks inventory, but they also running as the same heartbeat with our manufacturing. Right, we only like the vendor actually just an extension of our factory. It's like the molding vendor in Cikarang. Also, some we have a sewing vendor in Central Java who actually producing a lot of parts that needed by our manufacturing the next day, right? And they have the same purpose. They have the same. They want the same journey, and we cannot stay in our vertical integration for a long time. At the end, we are part of the supply chain, which is this kind of vendor. This kind of vendor very important for us. It's not like overseas vendor that we need to connect, but the local one nearby our operation is also running at the same heartbeat with us, and they are equally important for our operations. That's the reason why we want to tap into a horizontal integration for our supplier and vendors, subcontractor also, Pak Fadli. Yeah.
Wow, great. I think this is what we call the next level, and we're proud to know that your company now start to prepare on that portion. Normally, I would like to go more a bit deep on the data later on. So, okay, nice. I look to Pak Hari for Indolacto. Pak, so seeing that our colleague just now, Pak Daniel, and also the Pak Kemal, on the different business, right? You are on the food and bev company. So how Pak Hari now, how you use, can you share a bit how you use your shop floor data? Because in the food and beverage, the data on the shop floor is really important, right? And you need to be more fast, you need to be more real time or something like that. So can you share how you use your shop floor data in the real time to supporting your decision?
Thank you, Pak Fadli. Thank you for the question and to having me here. I think in the basic principle, in the basic principle, the concept of real-time data is the same, just like what another company do. In our factory, in our manufacturing, especially in the food beverage, how I can use my shop floor data in the real time, especially in quality. Our concern in food beverage, it starts from the quality of production itself. And then to ensuring that our product in good quality, so we need information data from shop floor related about material, raw material, packaging material, processing, and etc. with a limited time. Why this is very important for us? In the food industry, if there is any risk during the process, it will be directly impact the whole bunch of the batch. So if the information have lacking time, so it will takes a lot of risk to destroy in material and etc. That is the basic principle in our cell. And then to ensuring data real time, what we use it? We use a lot of technological enabler asset, like sensor and etc. Also in the milk scan. For example, we want to understand about the quality of fresh milk directly. It related with the payment of the price of fresh milk itself, and also the quality of fresh milk, which will be impacted our procedure. For example, if the quality is not very good, for example, not very good, means that the process that we have to make to produce the milk, it should be different or extra. And then this information need to push to factory manager maximum in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes. Why? Because the product life for expiry date fresh milk in 30 minutes during transport in 4 degree. So the key of data real-time information is very crucial in our side. That's why we are started our digitalization start from milk reception. And then under milk reception, we're trying to monitor, maybe just like another company, which is maybe different subject to the product, but same concept. OEE, KPI, production achievement, quality impact, safety issue, another information. And a lot of this data currently, before we do the digitalization, there is a lot of people to do that, a lot of headcount to maintain that information up to our level in the factory. Like operator have to key in data production schedule, and then supervisor have to combine, and etc. and etc. Now, we try to transform from manual entry data to become digitalization by putting some of equipment in our field so they can entry directly by barcoding or by another tools. So and this is how we can use our real-time data to take and support our decision. So the crucial in quality, safety, compliance, and production achievement in food beverage is very crucial. And then this digitalization data software, it's very help us if can be real time, as fast as possible, so the decision can make better time to times. Thank you, Pak Fadli.
Wonderful, Pak Hari. I mean that yeah, we can see and we can learn that on the food and bev company, when you are starting to move forward, I'm sure that you already have this before, and now you are start to move forward to accelerate your industry 4.0. We will talk again about that, Pak, how you deploy it on the factory that you are leading now. I want to come back to Pak Daniel. I remember that you are mentioning on the, deploying this on some of the value chain that you have. Now, due to the time limit, I would like to a bit more understood about your warehouse, Pak, because I'm sure in automotive, warehouse is very important for you, right? And this is maybe something that we can look and learn also, how we can, how is your warehouse become one of the important in your value chain, especially this is something that important in the manufacturing. I understood very well. I'm coming from the manufacturing also, and why it should be smart. And how is a smart warehouse expectation from point of view, Pak Daniel, for your company? Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Fadli. Yeah, I agree with your statement that warehouse is become one of important value chain in the manufacturing, because around 80% inventory of factory from warehouse. You can imagine it is big money, I think. So currently we still improving our warehouse by combining digitalization and set up the lean manufacturing, starting with storing goods according to correct address. So how we put the lamp and address to help operator to put good in the rack in the correct address. Then starting the visualization of stock condition in the warehouse. Again, the lead time for procurement of goods and daily needs. It will show our warehouse condition, too many inventory, or we don't not have inventory for each part. If see from warehouse job, I think basically they are placing part to store on the right rack. There is no excess inventory or shortage of part needed for production, deliver material, or part to production line and control inventory. This one part of MRP system. So I think the warehouse should be smart. Smart means that it can be foolproof, give warning or recommendation if any deviation, give guidance, and easy to control. Because some people say warehouse job is very hard because control around 1,000 parts or maybe more, and they need many workers to control it because many parts in here. But I think when we can create a smart warehouse, they will enjoy working in the warehouse because easy, simple, and auto control with notification. And we can, if we can expand with equip with automation like ASRS and AGV system for handling and control it, it's like a dream that we want to achieve in this journey. Yeah. For external activity, we can continue with the integration, horizontal data to supplier data, stock data at supplier, delivery cycle from supplier, so that it can reduce the level of our inventory. The target of smart warehouse is optimize stock level, real-time data, directly connected to production, supplier, and purchasing, and no data deviation that occur in the warehouse. When integrated with finance data, we can know how much our money in the inventory. It will help to top management make decision quickly. I think this is our want to do to achieve and the dream and our journey now. Thank you.
Very good, Pak. And yeah, I mean, when I heard some keyword you mentioned, most of 10 times about the data, and also you are mentioning that not only in the IoT or the OT level, on the OT level, but you are start to talk about the integration of your OT and IT. We will come back to you, Pak, on that question. Be prepared. So my question to Pak Kemal now, Pak, you mentioned that the customer machine connected to you, you need to understand them. You need to understand also that you want to have the visibility, the transparency, and etc. In your point, what is it normally? What is the data mean for you to improve your business? Before we are going to a bit deep later on to understood on my last question for you to understood how you want to be there and what is the necessary architecture and etc. So what is the data mean for you, Pa, when you said, I need to connect, you can call them, right? But you said, no, I don't want to call them. I want to see them by digitalization, something like that. So what is the data mean for you, Pa, for your business?
Okay, a very good, triggering question lah. I don't think people not familiar with the norm say that data is the new oil, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it is new actually. Data is always the oil. It's always the fuel of our improvement, right? Any business in this world actually come for one reason, to survive, right? We don't want to have a business that only survive for only 1 year or 2 years. We want to survive forever. And to do that, we need to keep improving, right? I think previously everybody mentioned about lean manufacturing. And through that improvement process, actually one of the key resources that we need is data, right? No matter it is industry 3, 2, or 1, actually it's nothing to do with digitalization. Its data is always the source of improvement. Without the right data, we cannot do the right improvement on time at the right actual problem that we have. The problem is, what is the condition of your oil, right? Data is the new oil, but what is the condition of your oil? What type of oil that you have, right? Is crude oil, or like our gasoline, you have different level, right? From 93, 95, 98, right? So what kind of data you want, right? And before digital transformation, we have data. Yeah, don't get me wrong, we have data, but it's on paper, and it's coming from one person or one entity or one department. So who talk louder and bring a nicer chart will be listen more, right? We will listen and hear the person that have a very good data presentation, and without have the feasibility to review the data integration, how valid is the data for our improvement, right? So we call it the louder will be heard better than the others. But now with digital transformation, when we connect all the machines, all the process, the machine talk to us directly, right? So we call it, so the machine talk to us, they bring the data to us. Now it's our turn to ensure that we present the data correctly. We do data, data warehousing and other, data processing process that, give us a valid, insight to do improvement. So data is very important to do improvement because that's the foundation of any business in the world to survive for the future. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak. Yeah, it's. I remember that a few years back, we always saying that we are no more only have the WhatsApp group for the family, but also the WhatsApp group together with the machine. So yeah, and this is proven, and I love to hear that from you. That yeah, the next question that you need to keep this not now, Pak. It will be talk about how is the readiness of the infrastructure if you will be make it this is massively, last time maybe it's only 10 sensor, maybe it's a 50 sensor, but if you want to connect also your customer, your partner, your vendor, something like that, you need the infrastructure, right? This is the heading what we want to talk later on. Keep it there. So I want to come back to Pak Hari first with the very excited experience on deployment, the digitalization, showing the benefit of the integration and etc. But so how you start this massively implementation and deployment your vertical integration in Indolacto, Pak? How you identify which one is first, which one is important? Many people always asking me where I need to start and how I need to go massively. Thank you, Pak.
Just like wise men say, it always start from me first. So, this is the basic principle of digitalization. Don't get me wrong that how we started, it starts from our culture. It's change of behavioral. So technology, digitalization, IoT, whatever we call it, is just a tools. When we have to start, we will start from the people itself. And this is the pain point, the big pain point, because we have to start with the digital mindset, digital leadership, and digital culture. How we can translate our digitalization, our connectivity to the people. Just like maybe we know Nokia before, connecting people, which is Nokia not already come yet right now, but it's true. IoT, digitalization, massive deployment in vertical integration or horizontal integration should be start from our change in people culture to understand about connectivity itself. If they are not understand, if they are don't know how about the benefit of this digitalization, they will always thinking about this digitalization will change their world, will take out their job. Then we will become a problem. In Indofood, we start from not bottom up but we start with top bottom because company culture is always start from top. We start with communication, alignment in innovation and direction from the board, that through this dynamic world changing vulnerability and etc., we have to digitalize ourselves. Digitalize means we have to connect it to others, even though machine, people, in real time. Because this condition will help us to make better decision, no matter the decision is right or wrong, but fast decision. If getting wrong, we will have another alternative to solve it and to take over the wrong decision itself. But the point is fast decision. And after that, we make a journey by putting a roadmap. So first, we start with the building digital culture. And then after that, we start there to campaign the digitalization and management alignment to the shop floor in order to reduce the wave of the labor, because this is digitalization also very sensitive with the labor activity. So they have to understand that first. And then our company makes some activity in order to train and learning them about digitalization by make innovation day, technology day, digital technology training, and etc. And make smart people, a lot of smart people, to become a change agent of digitalization itself. So there is 3 points that I have to start it. First is building mindset. The second thing is building culture of digitalization. And the third one is to establish the communication about digitalization. It's not about technology, it's not about the tools, but it's all about the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa. It's always interesting to hear from you on the journey of the transformation. So, yeah, I want to come back to Pa Daniel. So, Pa, after you telling me all these things, you're telling us about the story, what you put in place. You're mentioning about your warehouse to become the smart warehouse. That's the expectation that you have now. You are going to do that on this 2022. So, the increasing integrated data from the OT and IT, soft floor and top floor is become more and more. So now my question is how you see the need, because our topic is about the data driven, right? So how do you think the need of the data, and how do you think that the next gen of the connectivity like 5G can supporting you for your future transformation?
Okay, thank you, Pak Fadli. Again, yeah, I think same as Pak Kemal said, every manufacturing basically they have data before digitalization, but keep in the paper. And if we want to find the data, need time to find it, and sometimes we lost the data. So the data collected and integrated from the shop floor will always be updated, and this will create new parameter, and this data become important in making improvement or solving a problem on the line, and can be developed into the new standard or parameter. For example, how we control lifetime tool, as we use dice, and how we control the lifetime of dice data. So after being taken data and make analyzed, it can become a new parameter or new limit of lifetime. Because before that, the engineer just 100 stroke, 200 stroke. From where? So in the application, so that's why we need collect the data and make analyze, and in the application time management. So after we make some limit, so that when the machine reaches that number of stroke that is close to the limit, it will give first warning to operator, and when to make some preparation, and when it pass the limit, the machine will immediately stop. This is a new improvement for us to achieve how we reduce the reject, because we control the lifetime of dice. That is an example how you be using a data in the operation. Such same as well when we set up a production target based on a cycle time data, that it takes directly from average machine output too. So operator cannot make by himself to change the parameter. The data from shop floor is very useful in making improvement and can help the manager make quick decision to improve OE operation, and when they can be integrated vertical, it can be help. Same as I said too, but for top management, very helpful to making strategy and direction going forward. In the future, maybe the use data ranging from customer or the shop floor data and supplier data can be make and we use blockchain technology so that we can calculate automatically, and that will greatly help the overall operation. I think blockchain technology is not only used for mine crypto, but it will be used for manufacturing too. Is it correct, Pak Fadli?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, we need many data to driven our business in future, and with the technology of 5G, will make help us to make more quick action, and make quick decision, and make quick to driven to future strategy. I think this is my answer.
Thank you, Pak Daniel. Again, you are giving us a really real case and real situation. You know, the reality that the next gen of the industry 4.0 in the smart factory, digital factory, whatever they call the name. But we know that we are starting in Indonesia, and I know very well because I'm part of that, to helping the government, to helping the industry, and to be part of these games change in Indonesia, looking on this changing. And now you are mentioning again to all the participants here that, yeah, we are there and we will go there. And that's true what Pak Alfian mentioning. That's true what Budi is trying to do it in Schneider in Batam, and also the government now supporting, because this is the need. So Terence, this is the needs. So again, yeah, where we are here. So now I would like to go. Thank you, Pak Daniel. I would like to go to Pak Kemal. Pak Kemal, now even I heard that Mattel now is growing more and more. You are extending your building, your physical infrastructure. Now I would like to understand how you are preparing your extended infrastructure of connectivity. Because again, you mentioned just now, everybody already know that the data is the goal and everything. You always want to keep your goal, right? So the connectivity is the main core there. So how do you think is the importance of the infrastructure of the connectivity for you to deploy more on your digital transformation journey, Pak, in Mattel?
Well, a short answer is very important, but of course you don't want that. Yeah. So we always believe, okay, at Mattel, I think similar to what Hari just mentioned, we have a lot of people working for us, right? Our operators today is around 8,000 people, right? They are the foundation of our digital transformation. We need to change their mindset. We need to change the culture to be, familiar with this digital world. However, and as we know, the business is the key driver for the transformation, right? But in the middle, the enabler is the technology, which is infrastructure that you mentioned, Papa, earlier. So infrastructure, at the end of the day, without good infrastructure, our transformation will not happening, right? So it is not the foundation, it is not the key driver, but it is the enabler, right? It's very important. Why? Because without that infrastructure, let's say, for example, our next step after we connect the machine, I think some people mentioned about AI and machine learning also. So we try our AI engine using the vision, right, to track the movement of our operators, for example. This AI engine needs a supercomputer to be connected to the camera, right? And that supercomputer needs cloud to analyze the machine learning. And without a right infrastructure, I don't think that will be possible in the future. So the problem today, maybe because there is a Pak Heru here from the Ministry of Industry. The problem in infrastructure is it is not mature enough today, right? For example, because the maturity of infrastructure will drive the costs down. And as a discrete manufacturing where we need to connect thousands of machines, cost the cost is very sensitive to us, right? We need to, let's say, involve thousands of sensors in our operations, right? And infrastructure is very important. That's why when the infrastructure mature, it will be very important for us, and the cost will down. And I think Eric also mentioned in his presentation earlier that what you call that technological aspect of Industry 4.0 is very huge. It's very huge, and the only way to be successful in the future is to collaborate. And I think Mattel also open to collaborate with the infrastructure team so that we have a use case, and after the use case, maybe the government can give us a good incentive in the future, right? My takeaway.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Now is my last speaker, Pak Hari, that always giving inspired for us on the journey. So Pak, I know very well also you are not alone. I mean, you are not only one factory. You have several factory and different area. You have a multi-site, right? In terms of the Indofood and Indolacto. So what is your ultimate goals for as a multi-site company on integration, the data, and also the utilization, the data to giving the business impact for your organization, Pak?
Interesting question. First, in the multi-site company of integration, it will be a lot of factory to be combined for forecasting, for etc. And what is our ultimate goals? Simple. First, increase our flexibility in planning order. For example, if there is information comes to the specific area, so we can define in which factory it can be produced, in what kind of factory with what kind of SKU could be produced in their site in order to reduce the logistic cost. That's the first ultimate goal. So increasing flexibility to meet customer need by optimizing production plan, site plan, order, and logistics, it's one of our goals. The second thing is we always have some question is during this situation, it is possible to increase our operational efficiency in the multi-site, and how we can optimizing our asset by utilizing more effectively. So this information, this data integration, it can be used to optimize asset utilization, our asset utilization. The third thing is by multi-site integration data utilization, it will become what we call is proactive decision making. So before, we make decision making by waiting information from another side. And now, if there is a lot of information come to us directly, and then what we call, we can use AI, we can use another whatever enabler technology that we can use it to analyze that data, so it can be feeding to us to make decision in what particular factory or particular product. And in this case, it will be minimized bias data collecting during the analytic. The fourth thing, the fourth ultimate goals is it can make us more transparent in supply chains, more transparent in manufacturing side. But being transparent, being open in the data, so it will be reduced, like quote unquote, like fake performance, because it comes from the machine, not from the people itself. And the other most important thing is we can reduce environmental footprint by using digitalization. Footprints is one of the most important issue right now in order to sustainability. So by digitalization, using paperless and etc., it will be environmental footprint reducing. And we understand the young age, or our next generation is digitalized, like our children is more digitalized than us. They can use their etc. exploring everything. And then our next generation culture is more dynamic workforce, right? So we want to make some more attractive place for the dynamic workforce for the future. So this is one of our ultimate goals. And the last but not the least is the change of behavior of data integration. It's makes some new business model opportunity. For example, it can be used for just like Telkomsel. This is business 5G, right? And another company have the new business model rules also with us. I think that's our ultimate goal in multi-site company. So more beneficial than vice versa. Thank you, Pak Fadli.
Thank you very much. It's really, is a very insightful information on the way how, and also again, is to proving that hitting this 2022, the leading of the Indonesia industry now, we are accelerating our industry 4.0 on the vertical integration, horizontal integration, using the data as a driver for the business, and of course, the connectivity, all this technology and the telecommunication will be the part of the key enabler as a part of the ecosystem itself. So I'm always love to discuss with my colleague and my partners collaboration here. Pak Daniel, thank you very much. And Pak Kemal, thank you very much. Pak Hari, again, thank you very much for all insightful information to us. I would like to giving my third word to closing, because you have 3 speakers. So me, I will make to giving third word to close this discussion, to say that have third word: collaboration, collaboration, and collaboration. So I give back to Terence. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Patty, and all the precious panelist speaker. So now, in order to save some time, I pass to David Mohali. He's going to talk about how smart manufacturing best practice in China. David, your turn. You can share your slide.
Yeah,
thanks.
I will indeed. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes. Please change to presentation mode.
Yeah, it's just trying here at the moment.
Oh, looks good.
Looks good. Perfect. Okay, thanks so much, guys. First of all, I'd like to thank all the other speakers and panelists for the fantastic information sharing today and excellent real-world insights of the digitization and deploying 5G within very different industrial settings and manufacturing settings. So very much glad to be here and to be a part of it. So as we're relatively short on time, I'll skip through a little bit of the experiences that we have had Huawei working with some of our partners in China across a number of different settings. Again, very much echoes with what a lot of the other speakers have said. Ecosystems collaborations are really essential within vertical markets. That's something we've seen time and time again within projects. So that agility, being able to work with partners is absolutely critical. So a little bit on the agenda. So 5G and manufacturing digitization. So first of all, I just look maybe more broadly than some of the case studies within China, and look at the overall 5G market forecast across different industries, and then go into some of the characteristics of 5G, and then finally into the best practices of a few of the projects that we've worked with. Just to kind of distill some of the common patterns and business value delivered by 5G in real environments. Okay, so a little while back, we did a forecasting exercise with Keystone Strategy, which is a consultancy connected to Harvard Business School in the US, to forecast the opportunities for 5G connectivity across multiple different vertical industries. So this is a very tiny snapshot of that forecasting model. So like what we've heard in many presentations over the last couple of years and from the speakers today, there are lots of opportunities, and 5G is really kind of a key enabler for digitization across industries. But absolutely, to echo the point that was made a number of times by the other speakers, is that for 5G to deliver value within different settings, like in manufacturing or in energy utilities or automotive, it very much has to be done as a part of a proposition for the vertical, okay, rather than a separately sold connectivity package, okay. That's something that we have seen, and customers and verticals we've surveyed in different parts of the world have echoed this very, very strongly from the vertical market. So there's opportunities across the verticals, as you can see here. But really, one of the key takeaways we found as a telecoms industry, enabling these different industries, it's pretty critical that we develop businesses outside of pure connectivity. So really, it's key that we work in partnership, in collaboration with different ecosystem partners to enable other services on top of the connectivity solution. And this will help us drive more value and help us to increase the revenues overall for the telecoms industry into different vertical industries. So drilling down specifically on the manufacturing industry itself, again, you will see many of these forecasts for different sectors. This is one coming from the same report that we did with Keystone Strategy. And this looks at some of the top use case clusters for the manufacturing setting. And what's interesting here, you look at the opportunity sizes across these different use case clusters, from predictive maintenance, digital twins, asset tracking, remote asset monitoring, and stuff like this. All of these opportunities are quite sizable. Connectivity in many cases is a very small piece of it, but to go after that connectivity as an essential enabler really has to be done in kind of concert and coordination with your ecosystem partners for the target application area. Okay, so again, that's something that we have seen time and time again. So what this means for the telecoms industry overall, it means that as we explore selling and developing solutions into different markets like the manufacturing and the industrial setting, you know, the partnerships, the go-to-market, the business models need to adapt as a part of that. So the technology, you know, is very solid and very sound, but how we bring it to the market and how it can get consumed in a scalable, cost-effective way is the key point. So this is a little bit on the forecasting for the manufacturing sector. And if we take a look then at some of the use cases from different markets in Asia Pac. So the top example here is an extract from the Thailand market where it's looking at requirements for 5G use cases in different industrial settings. Okay, and again, the common message here, whether you're looking at it from the Thai market or the bottom table here, which is from a paper done in a white paper done in China. Really what it's doing is it's looking at enabling more advanced applications in the industrial settings that benefit from the characteristics of 5G. I think one of the speakers earlier from Telkomsel talked about the 5G currency. It's a fantastic way of describing these new capabilities that are getting enabled. Okay, so what this essentially means is that 5G delivers what we call a premium connectivity proposition. So it doesn't mean that it's 5G only or 5G instead of everything else. But what it does mean is that 5G and the characteristics, because it's been designed to be to have these characteristics so that it can enable a lot of these more advanced applications. So when you look at it in an industrial or manufacturing setting, the idea is that this can be very complementary and open up new value opportunities as a part of that digitization journey. Okay, so here you see it compared to some of the other connectivity solutions like fiber cable, Wi-Fi, 4G. 5G will help enable some of the more advanced and demanding applications. So on the right hand side here, So on the right hand side here, you see, some of the key characteristics that you often see mapped from a 5G perspective. And we see one example application type around remote control of equipment or devices. And I'll show an example case study on that in a second. But looking at the characteristics of a remote control application, you see really that the 5G characteristics match this quite effectively, okay? So what this means is that some of these advanced applications like remote control applications, be it in a mining setting or be it for, I'll show examples of remote control cranes in a while in the steel industry, machine vision, obviously machine vision, there was a lot of discussion in some of the earlier sessions around data collection and how to process that data and how to process it effectively on site, for example, with edge compute nodes is going to be a key enabler to unlocking the value of the data that is there today and the data increasingly that's been collected more and more. Okay, so and then jumping into some of the actual case studies from China itself. Okay, so within mainland China, Huawei has been involved in lots and lots of 5G projects across different industries. Today, we've cherry picked a handful just to kind of show the value that's been quantified in some of these setups and the bigger opportunity as this stuff starts to scale up. Okay, so you see here, this is with a company called Midea, which is a very large appliance manufacturer in China. And back in 2020, deployed a mobile private network. Again, as a form factor for the telco industry, I think mobile private networks are an excellent way of showing the value of 5G in a localized setting. Okay, because obviously, depending on the nature of the local deployment, the characteristics may need to be optimized or changed depending on what the industry is, depending on what the applications are. And that MPN form factor allows you to do that very, very effectively. So this was a project that was done. You see some of the kind of the actual scale of the factory setting itself. The ROI is on track in less than 3 years. And what was learned within this setting has now been rolled out into other factories. Okay, so as you see here, that basically it's starting to be scaled out. So similar to what we saw in the steel industry, and I'll show you examples of those in a second. We basically worked with a number of partners, with some of our telco partners and industrial partners to prove out the technology and the business case within the different settings. Then this can help to roll up into a business impact or business value. Here you see the collective calculation for this initial batch of use cases at kind of just less than $2 million US dollars per year. As you add more applications on top of your 5G infrastructure, obviously that business value only increases, okay, and delivers more and more value. So the couple that we will look at, and we see these as areas that tend to come up across many different manufacturing industrial settings, AGVs, anything to do with kind of forklift or movement of products, quality inspection, different forms of quality inspection. I'll show a couple of examples from Midea in a second. Cloud-based PLCs, data collection. So these elements here tend to be very common in a lot of settings, which is the reason why it was picked with this particular customer. Okay. So then looking at the specific factory setup here, you see, and again, I know we're quite short on time, you've got different, for this Midea factory, you have different disciplines carried out in different areas. So you see here, which the text is very small, but it's the kind of injection molding workshop, sheet metal workshop, okay, over into assembly workshop. So you have different workshops for different parts of the assembly chain, as you have in many manufacturing facilities. And then what we did is when we broke out these use case clusters like AGVs, forklift positioning, AI inspection, then these were able to be deployed in different settings where they had the most impact. And then obviously logistics, as we heard from our Zebra colleagues earlier, kind of cuts across the whole lot of the supply chain here. Okay, so what I'll do now is give you look into a couple of these examples. So if we go to the next one, you'll see a little video playing here, and this is within the injection molding facility. Okay, and what was happening beforehand is that they were using Wi-Fi technology, but Wi-Fi while it was functional and working, there would be reselection failures, estimated to be around 3% in a particular facility. When this moved over to 5G through the deployment of 5G dongles on the AGV, it improved this quite significantly, which meant the operation of the AGVs was far smoother. So this led to a kind of a production efficiency of 8% within the Midea factory. Okay, and this now is commercial in approximately 600 factories. So as a common type capability, you'll see this really rolling out and ramping up as the technology has been proven in a number of different settings. Okay, so that's in the AGV setting. On the right hand side here, what you see is 5G positioning. This was in an automotive company, and here what you see is it's actually tracking manual forklifts as well as AGVs. And basically, because you're able to see the flow of traffic and advise on it, you're able to optimize the transport efficiency across quite a large campus. Okay, so also quite a positive impact and ultimately impacted the bottom line. And down the bottom here, again, to echo what the colleague from Telkomsel around collaboration, we have some of our AGV vendors that we've worked with on different settings. And it's critical to make sure that the 5G connectivity layer is going to deliver what's needed in the different settings. Yeah. This next example here is also within the Midea facility, and this is AI inspection, right? So AI quality inspection. So what you've got here is that because Midea is an appliance company, they're creating a lot of in examples here. You see kind of domestic appliances, you know. So in this case, what it is doing is it's using 5 cameras on a production line, and what it's doing basically is it's using 5G technology into an edge node. It's the AI algorithms that are running are from Midea themselves, based on their own data and their own knowledge of the production line. And what it's doing is it's picking up. You see the little video here where you have people installing screws and labels and stuff like this. This can be quite error prone because it's one of the steps where you have people interacting with the actual automated production facility. And what the AI is doing is it's picking up on any errors really as the production is happening. So you see here, you know, the inspection rates go up and the first time yield improved by 4%. Okay. Also the actual checkpoints that they would have had pre the AI inspection, there's also a saving of 3K euro per checkpoint station. So really what it's doing is, with the digitization, you're taking costs out of a system that was already running and effective, but it's just removing and improving aspects of the production delivery. Okay, and again, this is rolling out in commercial context as well. Approximately 60 factories in China, driving over 3,000 plus connections. Okay, and again, our partners we see over here on the right hand side. Obviously, there's always a lot of talk about 5G, AI, cloud, and edge. The nature of AI, as we all know, and there's a lot of talk about data earlier and how good is the data and then the state of your data. So you absolutely need to be working with the right AI partners to make sure that we get the most out of the data and understand the nature of the data and deriving the most accurate insights from it. So that was a little bit from Midea, and then very quickly I'll touch on in a different industry, and the reason why I included this industry is from the steel industry. So you see this is from Shangtan Iron and Steel Company, and the reason for this one is that obviously manufacturing production lines have a lot of challenges. This particular industry has even more challenges because it's a very hostile environment. Okay, so in this iron and steel company, you see some of the key business pain points that they had kind of pre-digitization and pre-rollout of the 5G and partner solutions. So low productivity efficiency, low automation, a risky, I guess, dangerous environment to be around. Okay, so very hot, very difficult for employees to be a part of it. And the application areas that were targeted initially were crane remote and unmanned. So the control of the crane infrastructure that moved a lot of this heavy steel around the factory, AI motors, automation, basically the O&M of it, so predicting problems with some of the motors. And then the other ones were around a slagging robot, which is basically where there's additives added to the steel production process to improve the quality of the steel. Historically, this would be done by people. obviously you can't stay near these furnaces for very long. So it's not a very pleasant job, not a very safe job. So now this is done through automated robots, which can work 24/7 and can all of the data gathered remotely to drive a lot of efficiency. So some of the top line impacts from a business perspective were improved efficiency. So you see the steel production went from approximately 1,000 tons to 1,500 tons per person per year. So an improvement by the digitization. Worker safety is a huge thing. So it means that now, and we don't have time to show maybe some of the videos for this, but you see people that would have been working in a hostile environment, now working in an office environment, remote controlling the cranes, and interacting in a far more pleasant, safe environment and far more effective from a business perspective. So digital transformation in this case led to better quality, lower cost, and improved delivery of higher quality products. Okay, so you see a kind of a layout of the steel production facility here, and it targeted a number of use cases to begin with the view to adding more use cases, and I'll show you that here. So you see, if the environment for the 5G crane remote control is quite a hostile one. So it's quite a hostile. Now all of this is done from a remote control operations center in a kind of on campus, but away from the hostile part of it. And if I go to the next slide here, what we've got is the top part is, again, there's some discussion earlier in the presentation about start small and kind of grow, have ambition. This is exactly the route that we took here with our partners, is that in 2020, there was a very strong impact on the crane remote control, okay, and product inspection were two of the use cases that were targeted in 2020. This proved to be very effective. So where you had one crane operator to one crane to one person operation, now you have 3 or 4 cranes to one person. So you've had a kind of a scaling up, and the environment in which they're doing it, like you see on the left hand side here, is far more effective. So this particular company has approximately 400 cranes, about 1,500 drivers of the cranes. So it's now produced a far more effective operating environment, leading to kind of energy saving, fault reduction, and also far safer environment. So that's where it started. Then last year, what they did is they added other application areas. So they added other parts of the production line into it. So the steel turn automation, again, this would have been done manually in the past. It's now done in an automated way. And it's basically quality control from cameras and done within the operations center, okay? AR assistance is happening, and also then steel surface inspection using AI technology. So the goal is it started to ramp up from 2 plants to 9 plants, and then the use case clusters have gone up from 2 up to 12, driving an ROI improvement of less than 2 years. Okay, and as a result, the companies extended the contract with the partnership group that were involved in the delivery. And one of the last slides here, so the second last slide, this basically is looking at the modular approach, which I think is a fantastic approach to try and take some of the telco capabilities, our 5G characteristics, and turn them into elements that can be rolled into different scenarios from the vertical customer's perspective. So what you see along the top here is the actual Shinhtang Iron and Steel Company. These are the scenarios that they're rolling out from a business perspective. So crane remote control, we talked about AI motors, O&M, the slagging robot. So all of these things are practical areas that have a direct impact on the business for the Iron and Steel Company. Down the bottom, from China Mobile's perspective, what we got is working closely with China Mobile and Huawei and our partners in the steel company. We basically looked to create these repeatable capabilities that could be then rolled into multiple different scenarios above, right? So you see here scenario-based solutions, so HD backhaul, remote control capabilities, data collection, AR, VR, machine vision, and then these things can be rolled up and be combined to support specific applications. So like if we see scrap steel grading, 1 and 5, so that's using video backhaul and machine vision. So it creates a kind of a modular approach that lets you build and support lots of scenarios at the top level, okay? And then the 5G again, back to our kind of 5G currency or 5G capabilities underpinning all of this down at the bottom here. Okay, so I think it's a very good way of creating a modular approach that can help you to support lots of scenarios as you start to grow and drive more value within the. And then the last slide, really on the 5G to B. So on the left hand side, obviously from a Huawei perspective, we're strong proponents of 5G, particularly on the MPN side for vertical industries. And early on, we acknowledged the fact that you have to work closely with partners, integrate and enable a lot of these vertical solutions. And that's what we've done as a part of our MPN proposition. So you see examples of it here. So bring in integrated value as a part of it, then bring in a lot of ecosystem partners and continue to grow the ecosystem as we start to add more applications into different vertical settings, which drives a lot of efficiencies and then essentially lets us get the most out of the network capabilities from 5G. Over on the right hand side, then top right is just giving a little bit of snapshot of the deployments across different verticals. So approximately 1,200 in the manufacturing, over 50 in the port settings. Okay, that's of December 21. And then in mining and oil and gas, you see also the number of deployments is ramping up. So all in all, if you remember my opening slide talked about moving into verticals to really improve your overall revenues from a telco operations perspective. And this is echoed here on the bottom right with some data from some analyst reports. But as we've heard on this session today, it's really about taking the technology, 5G, putting it into environments, working with partners and testing and delivering on the value and then building on that over time. So that brings me to a close.
Thanks, David. I think very good to know from the technology leader from Huawei where you have done on 5G, and I think a lot of good benefit already shared from you applying in different process in the manufacturing environment. I think really good, especially I see the scaling, right? I think the 5G being deployed in a big campus that with different kind of that could host or contain different kind of application, doing different kind of process in the manufacturing hub. I think this is very good insight for every one of us. So thanks again. Finally, I think again, thanks for a lot of very good inside information, for very good speaker and very humble. I still see most of you stay with me for the whole two and a half hour. Sorry for longer than expected. I think it's really a lot of insight and information. Especially I'm seeing Dr. Ira Harus staying with us for 2.5 hours, which is again very thank you. And I think most of the question already adjusted in the Q&A boxes, very interactive, and I think the speaker all give a very good answer. So today is not an ending of this 5G journey or Industry 4.0. I would say it's just in the early stage. I was still saying it's still a lot of work to go, a lot of work for collaboration. I think not only Indonesian, within ASEAN, and also within the whole APAC region, because we need to bring more experts together to drive down the cost and increase the scale. I think it is really important to keep the momentum for the industry for adopting this very powerful technology for digital transformation. So thanks again. Thanks. So next, actually, our next workshop will be on April, which is about smart ports and logistics. So I think welcome for any one of you join this workshop again, or if you have any people from the industry who are looking for 5G, how it could apply for logistic ports and transportation, welcome to join. We already have very good speaker from Thailand, Singapore, China, and Europe. So thanks again. Looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Pak
Thank you,
Terence.
Pak
Thank you, Pak
Wong,
Fadli.
listeners,
you.
Pak Fadli, Pak Daniel,
Bye.
Pak Hadi, ya, Pak Kemal, Mr. David. Thank you, Pak, sharing for
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, David.
also.
Thanks you. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Eric, thank you.
Pak Daniel, Pak Hari, Pak Heru,
Okay.
Pak Alfian.
Keep health. Good
Health.
health.
Yeah, stay healthy.
Okay, good.
Hopefully,
Thank you.
see
See you
you
next
guys
soon.
webinar. Thank you.
yeah, have a success G20 presidency and host.
Thank you, Terence. Bye.